This story follows a young woman named Lena Me, who, after going out partying one night, almost misses her bus stop. In her rush to get off, she forgets her cell phone, which is picked up by an enigmatic young man. The next morning, a friend of Lena's, whom she calls Super Beauty, tries to call her, but the person who answers isn't Lena, but this mysterious boy. He uses another device and a pre-recorded voice app to avoid speaking directly, agreeing with Supermosa that he'll let Lena know he has her phone so she can return it. When her friend tells her the news, Lena gives him the address of the cafe where she works with her father, so they can deliver it there. However, after the call, the stranger intentionally smashes the phone screen. Elsewhere, the police find a girl's body buried in a forest. During the operation, they only find a container of fertilizer, which one of the officers, known as G-Man, recognizes. He follows the trail to a plum tree. G-Man tells a colleague that both the tree and the fertilizer belong to his son, Jun Jong, whom he hasn't spoken to in 7 years, since June left the family home after being blamed for his mother's illness. Still, G-Man doesn't believe his son is a murderer, but rather that he probably hangs around with bad people. Meanwhile, Lena receives a call on the cafe's phone from the guy who found her cell phone. He explains that the phone fell and broke, but he took it in for repair and it's already paid for. He just has to pick it up. Lena goes, unaware that the store is run by the same mysterious young man. He hands her a form where, among other information, he asks her to enter her password. Taking advantage of this, he unlocks her phone and installs a spy app that clones the device, allowing him to spy on her from her own phone or computer. He accesses her camera, microphone, messages, and calls. Thanks to this surveillance, the boy shows up at the cafe and orders a plum juice that isn't on the menu, claiming he tried it last year. At another point, Woo Jaemin checks his wife's cell phone while she's sleeping and discovers that she's still secretly communicating with her son. Through this, he obtains information such as addresses, since June constantly changes his address. When his wife wakes up, Jaemin feigns normalcy while cooking. Although he asks her about his son, she denies knowing anything to avoid a conflict between them. In the following days, the young spy continues gathering information about Lena. What is she like? Where does she live? With whom? Her financial situation, her routine, etc. In one scene, her boss at another job tells her that a client wants to make a big deal with the company and that she's largely responsible for it, so she decides to give her a raise. Lena suggests splitting the raise with her colleagues, but her boss tells her that only if the business thrives, since it's not financially viable right now. Next, we see the mysterious young man withdrawing money from an ATM to have business cards made. Later, Jaemin's partner shows him information he's learned about June. He doesn't have a cell phone, which is very unusual these days, and there's also a complaint about rental fraud. Jaemin decides to investigate the address involved. There, he finds evidence that points to his son as the killer. We discover that the boy who found Lena's cell phone is, in fact, Jun Jong. At the scene, Jaemin finds photos of one of the victims, a bottle of nail polish identical to the one the deceased had on her nails, multiple business cards with different names and identities, and a notebook with details about the victims collected during his surveillance. While the detective inspects the scene, Jun Jong approaches the house, but noticing someone is inside, he doesn't enter. Instead, he texts his father, "It's been a while, father," followed by several photos taken from angles that suggest he's nearby. Jaemin tries to track him down, but can't find him. Jun Jong escapes and heads to Lena's cafe. There, he is served by his father and orders plum juice again. He sits and waits until he finally speaks to Lena, with whom he had agreed to meet to buy some records. He makes it seem like a coincidence, but in reality, he knew she was selling them thanks to spying on her. During the conversation, he asks if he can sell some tickets he has, and Lena offers to buy them herself, returning the same money he had given her. Just then, Lena's father appears and tells the boy he ordered his juice to go, so he can't stay. Jun Jong leaves, but first gives Lena a fake business card, saying he works for a cybersecurity company. Later, her father gives Lena a ride and warns her not to trust the boy, as he seems suspicious. Lena tells him it was just a record sale, but her father insists she carry the knife he gave her for protection, unaware that they're being listened to on the phone. That night, Supermosa arrives at Lena's house after a fight with her mother. The two chat and the topic of Junjong comes up. Jokingly, her friend says that Lena has a crush on him, but she denies it, saying she only finds him interesting because they share many interests. She casually comments that he would look better with shorter hair and without glasses. Using the spyware on Lena's phone, Junjong sends a message to her father, apologizing for the incident in the car and sharing a link to install a security app in case his daughter loses her phone again. The father, believing everything is fine, installs it. G-Man, armed with all the information he's gathered, visits the mother of one of the victims, who reveals that shortly before her death, her daughter lost her cell phone, and whoever found it took it to be repaired. This confirms Junjong's pattern, which he repeats in each case. That same night, Lena's father receives a notification about a package. As he goes out to pick it up, he is attacked by Junjong, who then keeps him tied up. The next morning, Lena wakes up late. Her alarm didn't go off. When she checks her phone, she discovers posts made in her name, insulting her company and colleagues, and announcing her resignation. Lena arrives at work to clarify what happened, but her boss immediately fires her, accusing her of damaging the company's reputation. Worried, Lena can't understand how all this happened. Lena, accompanied by her friend, Supermosa, goes to the police to report the hacking of her phone, but without concrete evidence, they can't do anything. Meanwhile, Junjong, now staying at Lena's father's house, has the man tied up and uses his phone to contact Lena, telling her to take the day off because the cafe won't be open. Upon learning this, Lena, taking advantage of Junjong's supposed cybersecurity expertise, contacts him to ask for help, inviting him to meet and offering him plum juice, his favorite drink. Junjong examines the phone and explains that it has been infected with spyware that allows remote control. However, he assures her that he has already cleaned it, so she can use it without any problems. Lena demands to know who infected her phone, but Junjong tells her they should meet again to investigate further. As they leave the cafe, he suggests that superheroine might have been the culprit, since they're always together. Lena recalls that her friend spent the night at her house that day, having run away from home. Lena returns to the cafe and confronts her friend, asking if she was the one who did it. Super Beautiful becomes angry and saddened at being accused, confessing, though it's not true, that she was responsible, before leaving and telling her she won't speak to her again. This is part of Junjong's plan to alienate Lena from everyone around her. The news reports that police continue to discover bodies in the mountains, suggesting there are more victims, confirming the rising number of Junjong murders. G-Man meets with his partner to show him what he found in his son's apartment. The findings confirm that he is the killer. His partner advises him to erase the evidence, as he discovered it unofficially, which would put him in danger, but Wu G-Man refuses, feeling that the blame for what happened falls on him. His partner reveals that he has found the address of the phone shop, and the two decide to go there. Upon arrival, the shop is empty, with papers scattered on the floor. Upon reviewing them, they discover that only 7 people were treated, matching the number of dead girls. G-Man finds another record and corrects it, saying there are 8, since the 8th victim is Lena. Lena, realizing that the only stranger she gave her password to was the guy from the store, decides to go to the police. She takes them to the store, where the officers confirm that it followed the same pattern. She lost her phone and a stranger repaired it, assuring her that he had it. The officer gives her Junjong's name, but it doesn't ring a bell for Lena, although she does recognize other names she saw on his business cards. Convinced that Junjong is behind all this, she decides to investigate. Lena calls the cybersecurity company where Junjong supposedly worked, but when she asks about him, they tell her they have no record of anyone with that name. Realizing Junjong is still the culprit, she suspects the spyware is still on his phone, and that he just tricked her. She decides to use the information against him. He asks the police about the charges against him, and they respond that it's a secret case. Lena, deducing that it could be related to the content he uploads online, mentions that he likely films and uploads videos. G-Man inadvertently confirms that he's a murderer. The plan is for Lena to invite Junjong to her house, and while he's there, the police will arrest him. Junjong receives the message, and knowing that Lena likes the way he looks with short hair and no glasses, he shows up with that new look. That night, the police arrest him, but upon seeing him, they realize it's not Junjong, and they let him go. Junjong texts Lena, telling her he couldn't make it and that they'll meet up this weekend. G-Man receives a call from his boss, who informs him that, after reviewing records, they discovered one of the victims had called his son. He is asked to return to the station to speak with him. Before leaving, the police offer to escort Lena to a safe place, and she agrees to be taken to her father's house. As she says goodbye to the police, Lena gives them a note stating that if she stops communicating with them, something must have happened and that they should come help her. When Lena arrives at her father's house, everything is dark. Upon entering, she sees a lump in the bed, believing it to be her father asleep, so she heads to his room. There she takes out an old phone that she uses to avoid being spied on, but when she receives a text from Junjong, she decides to call him. The phone rings in the same house, prompting her to run to see if her father is okay. She discovers that the lump in the bed is just pillows, and her father is gone. She tries to call the police, but Junjong erases the number she dials. At that moment, she hears a loud sound coming from an argument between her and her father in the car, as he told her he had a bad feeling about Junjong. He follows the sound to a phone, where he watches the video and Junjong appears behind it. Meanwhile, the police receive a message from their boss, informing them that they have found a match with a body discovered a year ago in a reservoir, unclaimed. This leads them to believe that their son may be dead. Junjong, realizing that Lena has discovered his trap, sends a message to the police, asking them not to suspect anything. Junjong tells Lena that he'll have to wait 24 hours before killing her, unless someone tries to stop him. Lena, taking advantage of his absence, takes a poker from the fireplace and tries to surprise him in the bathroom. However, when she opens the door, she finds her father tied up in the bathtub. Junjong, holding a knife, forces her to drop the poker. He then throws her a piece of tape to tie her legs together. Lena, her hands tied, kneels as he asks, while he starts turning on the water in the bathtub, planning to drown her father. Lena begs him not to, offering to do anything, to which Junjong suggests that she kill her own father. He then pushes her into the bathtub next to her father. In the midst of the chaos of trying to get out, she accidentally pushes him down further, making it difficult for him to breathe. Meanwhile, Junjong, showing no emotion, takes a photo with his cell phone, as if he were a mere spectator of someone else's tragedy. Immediately afterward, Junjong leaves the bathroom. On the floor, he finds a piece of paper that Lena had dropped. Reading it, he realizes he's been tricked. The message was clear. "I won't text, I'll just call." At that moment, a noise alerts him. He sees the detectives approaching the house. Overcome with fear, he looks for a place to hide. Stealthily, he appears, armed with a spear, and positions himself behind one of the detectives, ready to attack. But before he can do anything, Detective G-Man surprises him and points his gun directly at his head. Bewildered and on the verge of collapse, G-Man throws a question at him. "What are you doing? Who are you?" Junjong looks at him with a look somewhere between defiant and cold and answers, "Father." That single word paralyzes him for a few seconds. But G-Man quickly reacts and hits him with his gun, knocking him unconscious. Meanwhile, in the bathtub, the other detective manages to get Nami out. She's soaked, shaking, and in shock. But he's still alive. G-Man, still holding the gun, stares at Junjong. He firmly asks, "I know Jun is alive. Tell me where he is." Junjong answers with a slight smile. "His name is Junong." Then he changes his tone and says, "Don't hurt me. I'm like this because of you. Even though I lied to you. That poor fool could never have killed anyone." That confession inflames G-Man's fury, and he begins beating him up in rage. Meanwhile, his partner tries to revive Nami's father using first aid techniques. "Where's Jun?" G-Man shouts again. Junjong glances at a nearby suitcase. G-Man opens it and finds a notebook labeled Junjong No. 0. It's filled with strange writings about his family and plans to manipulate them, even murdering G-Man and turning him into a criminal. Next to him are several cell phones, each labeled with a different number. G-Man takes the 1 Mark 0 and turns it on. A video of the real dead Junjong appears on the screen. Watching it, Junjong mutters, "I'm sorry. I'm going to take responsibility for what I did. Just put the gun down." From afar, Nami listens and observes everything. She looks at Junjong, and something inside her stirs. Filled with rage and determination, she manages to break free. He runs to the gun one of the detectives has dropped, grabs it resolutely, and fires. Junjong falls mortally wounded, whispering a few final words. G-Man snatches the gun from Nami, both of them completely in shock. Stunned, she turns around, sees her father still alive, and runs to hug him, sobbing. Moments later, the scene is filled with ambulances, police cars, and media. Nami is carried away on a stretcher. Meanwhile, she receives a message from her friend saying, "Where are you? We need to talk." Days later, the news goes viral. They've identified the real killer, who remains in a coma. Most disturbing, however, is that there's no legal record of its existence. Just when everything seems peaceful, someone appears with a camera pointed at her. When Nami realizes this, she freezes, leaving an unsettling feeling that nothing has ever truly ended. If this summary left you with goosebumps, don't leave without liking the video, leaving your comment, and subscribing to the channel. And if you're still hungry for more, another video is now appearing on screen that you can't miss. See you in the next summary.